Hi, welcome to Far From Eden. Happy Sunday. Today is the day we read a fairy tale. It all got started because I'm curious about the whole Disney idea and how it affects women and how they changed how did they change the fairy tales from what they originally were as the Grimm brothers traveled through Europe collecting them to what Disney decided to put forward to entertain mostly little girls with these princess stories like Cinderella. And we read Cinderella, and it was way different and had specific lessons for I would say little girls. And we don't teach those things anymore. Anyway, we've also read poems and even Paul Harvey's speeches and found truth that we always knew as a people, as a society, and that we have just either thrown away, discarded, or actually argue against in our society. So it created a tradition. And as far as I'm concerned, I feel like it's y'all's channel too. It's just me, but we're liking the fairy tales and you guys look forward to them. It's not the biggest videos that I make, but I'm not going to stop until we've read every single Grimm fairy tale that I can find on the face of the earth. But we're gonna do all the ones in this beautiful old book. It is torn and tattered. I did not have it during its lifetime, but I'm very happy to have it now. The Grimm's Fairy Tales is its title, and it is from the early 20th century, which I have learned is not old enough. The first Grimm fairy tales were actually published in 1812. So much better and more based. But we're going to go through these ones, and once in a while, I'll pull one from the internet that they say we shouldn't read, or that's really misogynistic. Those are the ones I want to read. But anyways, we're going to get through all the ones in this book. And the one we did last week was the first book, the first story in the book. The next one that we have not read is The Traveling Musicians. I have no idea what it's about, but the Grimm brothers clearly thought it was worth writing down, worth passing on. So here we go. The Traveling Musicians. An honest farmer had once an ass that had been a faithful servant to him a great many years, but was now growing old and every day more and more unfit for work. His master, therefore, was tired of keeping him and began to think of putting an end to him. But the ass, who saw that some mischief was in the wind, took himself slyly off and began his journey towards the great city. For there, thought he, I may turn a musician. Okay, so this is the donkey, right? That's the word for donkey. The donkey's like, I think they're about to put me down because I'm not working so well anymore, so I'm going to head to the city and be a musician. That's so fun. After he had traveled a little way, he spied a dog lying by the roadside and panting as if he were very tired. What makes you pant so, my friend? I'm going to say donkey because YouTube, said the donkey. Alas, said the dog, my master was going to knock me on the head because I am old and weak and can no longer make myself useful to him in hunting. So I ran away. But what can I do to earn my livelihood? Hark ye, said the donkey, I am going to the great city to turn musician. Suppose you go with me and try what you can do in the same way. The dog said he was willing, and they jogged on together. I'm just going to take this moment to ask you to like the video and subscribe to the channel. My little dog, Lola, is causing a ruckus over here. And whenever she distracts me, I'm reminded to ask you to like the video. Can you just wait? It's not time for dinner yet, all right? Let's just listen to the story, Lola. She's so naughty. They had not gone far before they saw a cat sitting in the middle of the road and making a most rueful face. It's a cat. I'm enjoying this story so much. "Pray, my good lady," said the donkey, "what's the matter with you? You look quite out of spirits." "Ah me," said the cat, "how can one be in good spirits when one's life is in danger? Because I am beginning to grow old, and had rather lie at my ease by the fire than run about the house after the mice. My mistress laid hold of me, and was going to drown me. And though I have been lucky enough to get away from her, I do not know what I am to live upon." "Oh," said the donkey, "by all means go with us to the great city. You are a good night singer, and you may make your fortune as a musician." How did the donkey learn about musicians in the city? It's probably not. The cat was pleased with the thought and joined the party. Soon afterwards, as they were passing by a farmyard, they saw a cock perched upon a gate and screaming out with all his might and main. "Bravo!" said the donkey. "Upon my word, you make a famous noise. Pray, what is all this about?" "Why," said the cock, I'll say rooster, YouTube. It's an animal. "Why," said the rooster, "I was just now saying that we should have fine weather for our washing day, and yet my mistress said the cook, I'm sorry, yet my mistress and the cook don't thank me for my pains, but threaten to cut off my head tomorrow and make broth of me for the guests that are coming on Sunday." "Heaven forbid," said the donkey. "Come with us, master." Oh goodness, you guys are going to have to help me with this word. Master Chanticleer? Chanticleer. Chanticleer. "It will be better, at any rate, than staying here to have your head cut off. Besides, who knows? If we take care to sing in tune, we may get up some kind of a concert. So come along with us." "With all my heart," said the rooster. So they all four went on jollily together. Imagine passing them. They're all going down the road. Weird group. They could not, however, reach the city the first day. So when night came on, they went into a wood to sleep. The donkey and the dog laid themselves down under a great tree, and the cat climbed up into the branches, while the rooster, thinking that the higher he sat, the safer he should be, flew up to the very top of the tree, and then, according to his custom, before he went to sleep, looked out on all sides of him to see that everything was well. In doing this, he saw afar off something bright and shining, and calling to his companions, said, "There must be a house no great way off, for I see a light." "If that be the case," said the donkey, "we had better change our quarters, for our lodging is not the best in the world. Besides," added the dog, "I should not be the worse for a bone or two or a bit of meat." So they walked off together toward the spot where Chanticleer had seen the light. And as they drew near, it became larger and brighter, till they at last came close to a house in which a gang of robbers lived. The donkey, being the tallest of the company, marched up to the window and peeped in. "Well, donkey," said Chanticleer, "what do you see?" "What do I see?" replied the donkey. "Why, I see a table spread with all kinds of good things, and robbers sitting around it, making merry." "That would be a noble lodging for us," said the rooster. "Yes," said the donkey, "if we could only get in." So they consulted together how they should contrive to get the robbers out. This does not seem like a good plan. To get the robbers out. And at last they hit upon a plan. The donkey placed himself upright on his hind legs, with his 4 feet resting against the window. The dog got upon his back. The cat scrambled up to the dog's shoulders, and the rooster flew up and sat upon the cat's head. When all was ready, a signal was given, and they began their music. The donkey brayed, the dog barked, the cat mewed, and the rooster screamed. And then they all broke through the window at once and came tumbling into the room amongst the broken glass with a most hideous clatter. The robbers, who had been not a little frightened by the opening concert, had now no doubt that some frightful hobgoblin had broken in upon them and scampered away as fast as they could. I'm just imagining what that must have sounded like. The coast once clear, our travelers soon sat down and dispatched what the robbers had left with as much eagerness as if they had expected not to eat again for a month. As soon as they had satisfied themselves, they put out the lights, and each one more sought out a resting place to his own liking. The donkey laid himself down upon a heap of straw in the yard. The dog stretched himself upon a mat behind the door. The cat rolled herself up on the hearth, before the warm ashes. And the rooster perched upon a beam on the top of the house, and as they were all rather tired with their journey, they soon fell asleep. But about midnight, when the robbers saw from afar that the lights were out and that all seemed quiet. Oh golly, I always get scared when we're getting to the end with a grim fairy tale. Yeah. Okay, so the robbers see that the house seems quiet. They began to think that they had been in too great a hurry to run away, and one of them, who was bolder than the rest, went to see what was going on. Finding everything still, he marched into the kitchen and groped about till he found a match in order to light a candle. And then, espying the glittering, fiery eyes of the cat, he mistook them for live coals and held the match to them to light it. But the cat, not understanding this joke, sprung at his face and spit and scratched at him. This frightened him dreadfully, and away he ran to the back door. But there the dog jumped up and bit him in the leg, and as he was crossing over the yard, the donkey kicked him, and the rooster, who had been awakened by the noise, crowed with all his might. At this, the robber ran back as fast as he could to his comrades, and told the captain how a horrid witch had got into the house and had spit at him and scratched his face with her long bony fingers, how a man with a knife in his hand had hidden himself behind the door and stabbed him in the leg. That's a dog, yeah. How we're going to say dark monster, it says black monster, stood in the yard and struck him with a club, and how the devil sat upon the top of the house and cried out, "Throw the rascal up here." After this, the robbers never dared to go back to the house, but the musicians were so pleased with their quarters that they took up their abode there, and there they are, I dare say, at this very day. Aw. So, was it that they were all, nobody saw their value anymore, and they were cast aside, and then maybe when they came together, they had value and worked together? I mean, technically it wasn't their house, but the robbers. I don't really know what the moral of the story is, and I should. But this is when I ask you guys, okay, what do you guys think it is? And I'll probably think of something a little bit later. This is why I read them for the first time with you guys. I'm like, I really think in from my point of view, all of their masters were about ready to, end them. And the donkey got this idea, well, I'm going to go and do something different. And he collected a bunch of friends, and they were all different. And they worked together, and it worked. I don't know. Is it kind of like a family? All of their, the rooster, he could go up high, and he had a skill. They all had different skills. It all complemented, much like a family. I don't know. I don't know what the moral of the story is. I know it made me feel warm and fuzzy, because they all work together, and they all. I don't want it to be like, well, that's a good, it takes a village. No, it takes a family, and you still have value. You always have value. I think that's it too. I think even when you're old, when you're old and you can't do your job anymore, it's one thing. You guys know, if you've been following my channel, that I grew up as an equestrian on a horse ranch, and so I know that that there's a time with animals, that it gets to be to a point, and it's just cruel, not to help them, make the final journey, as it were. But also, as a steward of animals, when you have one, as the donkey, he had served his master very well. I don't think it's right to just, with an animal that has served you his whole life and you've benefited. If you are able to, I think you owe it to that animal to allow them to live out their days. The owners of these animals didn't think so. The owners of these animals saw that, oh, you're not going to do your job anymore. Okay, you're not valued anymore. And I think men today see this. You guys know, you're utilitarian. These animals all had a utility, right? And as soon as the utility was gone, their value was gone. And I don't think that that's right. And maybe that's what the story is. Maybe it's to teach the little kids, hey, but isn't that sad? Don't you still think the dog is a good dog, and the cat's a good cat, and the donkey is a good donkey, and served his master, and helped him plow the field, or whatever he did, carry things? I think it would help them say, yeah, no, they still have value. Just because you can't do what you used to do doesn't mean you should be thrown away. And women especially need to stop throwing men away when they, if you get sick. You guys also know, if you follow my channel, I have progressive multiple sclerosis, diagnosed when I was 22. But obviously, looking back, you can, it was clear that I've always had it. But does this mean, oh, she has no value? No. Why? Because we're made in the image of God. Because he made us. So we are not just, humans are not just a piece of dirt. We are not just anything, to be just thrown away. And I think that the story of these animals, they didn't go to the big city and be a musician. And you don't have to be valuable. You just exist, and you're valuable. And we need to bring back the idea of unconditional love and faithfulness, so that you don't have these gray divorces. Well, now he's retired, so I got to trade up. What are you talking about? No. You value who the person is, who they were, who they are inside. You'd never just throw that away. I'm glad I took a moment for this all to sink in, because now I'm like, yeah, that's what it's about. That's what it's about. Don't throw things away that have value and served you and loved you, and you know, and that's what women do. And don't throw people away when they mess up or they hurt your feelings or whatever, because they're gonna do that. That's the nature of humans and relationships. You don't just throw them away. They all saw each other's value because they'd all been thrown away. These are MGTOW animals. These animals went AGTOW. The animals went AGTOW. Animals going their own way. That's what this story is. They weren't valued. They were about to be. They went AGTOW. I don't know. Maybe I'm in an echo chamber, because that's what I see. I want to know what you guys think. Man, these stories are so good. Wow, we really, wouldn't it have been great to be raised with these stories being read to us? Gosh, that small difference. These stories and the lessons in them. If that shaped your childhood, what a different place we'd be in. But I try not to get too sad about that, and just enjoy the stories and the lessons and the values they teach, because they are eternal, they are true, and it's a beautiful thing. Because at the end of the day, no matter how crazy humans behave, truth is still there. And so you might have to get away from the chaos. You might have to go, your own way to protect your peace. That's what these animals did. And look, they were happy for it. As he said, the narrator said, they're probably still there to this day. I was picturing it. Anyway, thank you guys so much. I love Fairy Tale Day with you guys. It's so fun. And it feeds my soul. It really does. I feel selfish because I'm like, oh gosh, I think I might enjoy this more than you guys do. But either way, even if it's just one of you, we're gonna do it. So I hope you're feeding your soul today too. And I hope you've protected your peace today. And I love you guys. And I'll see you on the next one.